Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's critique. I was really hoping to go live on Facebook with this one, but Facebook was not cooperating and kept airing out on me. So here we are. I'm going to record this. I will post it to the Facebook pages so you guys can see what our amazing students are up to. As you guys know, again, just had a baby. She's down here. She's always with me. But I wanted to draw attention to that today because one of the things that we do with our courses is we recognize that all of you are busy, that all of you have jobs, or you have school, or you have families, or you have a million other things occupying your time. So you can't always devote 100% of your time to your animated work or your lighting work. And the reason why I want to draw attention to that is we have designed our courses in a way that helps you all to go through them. So all of our lectures are pre-recorded, everything's set up where you can go through it at your own pace. So let's say you're at a point in your life when you're ready to just like jump in and tackle things. Feel free to binge all the lecture videos. All these assets are available to you. But if you're like me and this is the first time in the last like 12 hours I've had two hands free to occupy my computer, now is your opportunity to actually get to work, and so you can go through everything at your own pace. Tonight, we're just going to take a look at today's submissions from our lighting students. We've got a little bit from the lighting challenge. We've got some other assets like the alley, and we're gonna just dive in. So only still images tonight. We don't have any animated files to go through. So I'm gonna just hop over here into Photoshop and kind of get going. So let's just go round robin here. I'll tell you what, let's do the alley first. So we'll do Karl's alley here. So here's the render. Here is reference number 1. Here is reference number 2. And I think this is really, really telling reference, really great stuff. And I think there's a lot to pull from this. So this was the first time that I was seeing this today. And my first reaction was that this felt like a miniature. It felt very small. And the reason why I say that is the depth of field is pretty high. If you look at these two references, there's a little bit of depth of field in there. Like these mountains, these distant mountains are a little bit hazed. Like there's a little bit of out of focus. But anytime you're seeing like this level of defocus in the foreground, and then like this, and then a crispness in the middle, and this level in the background, what is happening is that it's just cranked up too high. So we did a lesson a while ago on why on cameras and depth of field, and just talking about how it reads. And basically only when something is very, very small, only if something is like the size of this, will you really get like something in focus here and then out of focus behind it and out of focus in front of it. When you're looking at an environment, you really want to be careful with that because the way that reads to audience is like very small. And it's not something that most audience members would be able to identify immediately and be like, you know what? It's because the depth of the field blur is too high. It just feels a certain way, and that's not what we want. We want to accurately portray the size of the scene. Now, if this is if we're if you're making a film that is meant to feel very small, totally fine. But just one thing that you want to be leery of. The other thing that I really kind of wanted to pay attention to. So by the way, I do love how you've reconfigured the back of this alley. I think that looks really nice. And I think that some of the elements from the assets, from the reference you're really pulling in, like the way that there's this bright patch here on the wall and it kind of fades off is really nice. And you are able to simulate that a little bit here, like that, and like in that region, it's working out pretty well. The color is a little bit, so it's a little bit warmer here on this one. The reference is a little warmer than this light here, and it's a little bit less red than this one. This light feels very red. This one feels very yellow. And what we're seeing is the reference is something that kind of balances in between. So I would kind of pull those more in line. It's good that they're not perfect, but it would be better if they were, I mean, perfectly aligned with one another, but it would be better if they were a little bit closer together and a little bit splitting the difference. The other thing that I'm really noticing is this back wall back here and some of these areas in shadow are a little bit flat. Like we need to generate some more shaping, and what we're seeing, like look at the reference and look at like what's going on this wall. And in some of these walls, like we're getting variation differences between the sides, and especially here, there's warm light kind of bleeding up this way, and it's creeping up the wall and creating some really nice visual shaping there. Where here, it's just kind of that one solid color. So it'd be really great if there was maybe some light bleed on there, and there was just like a touch more warmth, so that as it goes up the back wall, that would be really nice. Additionally, I think we can go a little darker in the foreground here. I think this area in front of the window can go darker, and that can create some nice vignetting. Perhaps maybe a little bit of darkness in here as well. And then this light spilling out of the window is really nice. It would be nice if there was like a little more focus on it. So yeah, I guess like the overall sky or fill value that you're using, just bring that down a little bit to draw some more attention into this area here. Like we can take this, just mock this up. Oh. Sorry. Popped in my other window there. So let's take this. We'll copy the whole thing. We will crank down like this darker value to maybe somewhere in there, and then we will color correct it so it's a little bit more blue. Maybe somewhere in there would be nice. And then what we can do, and again, this is not how you're going to do this. This is just like mocking up some of the values. And then we can pull some of this area out. And now what we're seeing is a little bit more zeroing in on this central area. And then this would be really nice with a little bit of light, with a little bit of value shift back here. The other thing that's a little bit of a challenge with this set is just getting some specularity on these leaves. You may just need to turn that up or just add some additionally. But I love the way that you're directing the eye. I love that some of your focus is really being drawn to the center. I think that's working out really well. It's just a matter of dialing in some of these values. So you're off to a really great start. And the other thing is, because this window is drawing so much attention here, I think it was in this other reference. Where did I see that? It was a different reference. But basically the idea is we want to create some sort of, you just want to put some objects in front of that window just to create some cast shadow, so it feels like there's some furniture, or there's just a little bit more variation behind that window, so it doesn't just feel like an empty room. But yeah, I think you're off to a good start, and you're moving along really well. So now let's go into, we've got two of the submissions for the Adam, this month's lighting challenge. So with Adam, so with this reference, this is actually not the most accurate one. Here is so this is where we were yesterday, and then you updated to this, and then earlier today you updated to this. So I just kind of want to keep the progress frames. So let's keep it on your most recent one. Okay, so I feel like you've gone a little bit too far with this spotlight in the middle. I like what the structure of it. It's just a little bit too heavy-handed right now, where like you're getting some more some good value shifts now in him. We just need to kind of tone it all down. And one of the areas that I really want to tone it down is on the surroundings, because I actually think that the overall value is better here on these characters, except for the key hits on their sides. So let me demonstrate that a little bit. So if I take this, and then if we just like pull him just to keep him on his most updated value. And then with these characters, we'll just like pull back in some of this here, some of that there, then maybe like, I don't like that. But just keeping some of those values. So that, because this, like, you can see it really kind of pops the focus onto our main character there. And then in terms of his value, it could be the same thing. Like, let's take him, invert that. This version, we will X that out. Okay, so now we just have these two characters on top of each other. We're going to tone this one down slightly. So we just want like a little bit of that warmth on him. And in fact, we're going to take down his fill value a little bit too. Can pull that down just a little bit. And we will tone this one down even more. I like the little bit of warmth here a little bit better. Maybe something a little bit more along these lines. Let's merge these. Okay, so something a little bit more like that. Might be looking a little better. That warmth is a little bit too warm. Let me pull that out a little bit. Sorry, you hear my daughter going. I got focused and I stopped tapping my foot there. So let's actually take down some of the saturation in the reds, like more like that. So it's a little bit of warmth, but it doesn't quite pull us out. Just going to take it down just a little bit more. Maybe something along this line. So now, let me just show you this. So now instead of this, which is where we were, we're in like this region. You see that? Because now there's a little more shaping on the face, and it would be nice, maybe run like an ambient occlusion on the ears, because the ears feel a little bit like glowy, and just kind of place that in there. And then watch this hard shadow on his forehead. But really it's just about like managing these levels and pulling things into place a little bit. But I think you're coming along really nicely. For just a couple days of work, this is really, really good. All right, moving on to Abhishek. Really great update here. Love the room, love the posters on the wall. This is your reference. Biggest thing that, like, I love these posters, and this is something that happens a lot with CG artists, is that when we add something, we like want people to see it, but in reality, we want to put those out of focus. So we were talking about the depth of field in the other shot, in the alley shot from Karl, and it's the opposite problem, where now we want that to feel like a little bit smaller, because a human is a little bit smaller in space. So just like we'll throw like a just a little bit of blur back there. Blur. Because really there's, actually let me do it this way. Because actually there's a problem right now. Well, a couple problems. Number one, I'm not really feeling like there's a drop shadow from those posters onto the wall. They feel like they're just floating over light. The other thing is like the middle poster seems okay, but the two on the sides feel a little bit like their texture is a little bit stretched. Like the one on the left feels squished, and the other one on the right, like a couple of the characters feel a little wonky. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Yeah, let's just go ahead and blur this up. So like this level, and then we want to just take all the, only isolated to the stuff kind of back behind the couch here, and behind him, obviously. Okay, just a quick mock-up there, so you can see like a little bit of depth of field back there. It really kind of helps us pop into the center here on the character. Now, the other thing that I wanted to point out that I was noticing was like I really, really love the shaping on the face. Like this across here is looking just beautiful. Like right. Okay. Like the shaping coming across here is just looking so nice. And I really like the color that you're getting. I think his skin tone is feeling really good. And I think that's looking quite nice. The area that I would really like to go away is this. I just want to eliminate that for a couple of reasons. One, it's looking green and taking away from the nice skin tones that you've created elsewhere on him. And two, it's just like a really harsh shape on the face, and you don't want that. I'm also kind of seeing it here, and I'm guessing it's the same light. And I'm guessing the reason why you added it was you wanted to create a little bit of rim here, and that's totally valid. But what we want to do is a couple things. A, let's tone that down. Let's make it about half the intensity. Let's soften it up. Let's isolate it to only about like this part of his shoulder. If it's not, let's make it a spotlight and really kind of zero it in. And then it would be nice if we got a little bit of it here too, over the couch and on the towel there. The blanket, I guess. You don't just keep towels on your couch. And then, and this is because it's temp render stuff, but like watch out for noise in the shadow there. The eye dings, let's like inch them down so they're like right there, and then add a little bit of glow to them so that they are, because they look a little crispy right now. Let's add a little bit of, and I know that in the reference it's a little bit tighter. In this one, I would actually have encouraged the artist to go with a little bit warmer on the eye dings to represent the key light in the scene, and then to pull them a little bit more into the iris so they're right there on the border. And I would say to do the same here with yours. Yeah, and then maybe don't quite let it get this dark over here. It's feeling like a little bit black, just like a little bit more lifted. And the last thing I will say is that let's try and play with the colors on him just a little bit. Because I think right now I'm just looking at the fill values. Actually, I could probably look at both. Because I would like to see some more coolness in the fills. Maybe a little less green. Maybe like something in here. And then we'll bring up the saturation in there. And now let's just focus this in on the fill area. Take that off the key. And so now this fill is a little bit cooler overall, and it'd be nice to get that cool warm ratio. Maybe that's a little bit too saturated. Let's pull it back just a little bit, but something a little bit more in there. And this really will highlight some of this really nice kick you're getting up underneath the chin there, and I think that'll look really nice. But overall, yeah, this is great. Really looking strong. And then we'll go from there. So let me know if you all have any questions. And yeah, we'll keep going, keep lighting. And yeah, happy lighting, everyone. If you have any questions, just let us know. Add them to the comments below. If you're watching this on YouTube, add them to the comments. I hop on almost daily to check it out. And for those lighting students, I will see you all on Monday. And I will talk to you all soon. All right, have a great weekend. Happy lighting, everybody.